Bob Kemp. I was wondering how come the actress and Scientologist Erica Christensen played in the Christian propaganda movie The Case for Christ in 2017. Won't the upper echelons of Scientology punish her for that? Or is it that money is the most important thing to them all? She had one of the top billings in that movie. I mean, don't Scientologists see Christianity as something that evil Xenu implanted in people as an illusion to drive them away from the awakening that Scientology offers? So wouldn't Erica Christensen's starring in a Christian propaganda movie be equal to a Catholic actress starring in a movie that praises Satan? Hey, Bob, thanks for the question. Your question betrays a commonly misunderstood aspect of Scientology and their beliefs, and so I love clarifying this for people. You have to understand that you know more about Scientology than Scientologists do. If you watch my channel, if you watch South Park, if you have watched Going Clear, if you have watched Scientology in the Aftermath, if you have read any of the books, if you have even read articles from Rolling Stone or anything like that, you know more about Scientology than Scientologists do. But you're never going to tell Scientologists that, right? You don't know all that Scientologists know in terms of all the minutiae. What I mean is you know more about their secret beliefs. You know more about what really is going on in Scientology than Scientologists do. And by this, I mean I'm referring directly to the Xenu story and the idea that all religion and Jesus Christ is a figure and all of that is an implant. Okay, we've been over implants. Implants are, the mental brainwashing, right, that's occurred over the millennia and trillennia of your existence as a spiritual entity. It's not just something that happened to you this lifetime here on Earth. Implants are something that happens to you mainly between lives, and they're quite bad, and they are quite effective, and this is why you can't remember things and stuff like that. So, but most Scientologists aren't aware of what implants are and how all that works until they get relatively far up the bridge, until they, get further and further indoctrinated, in other words, into Scientology's belief set and walk through the gates of indoctrination that are the bridge to total freedom. So the Xenu story is OT level 3. No one's going to get to that level in Scientology without being dedicated for years and giving well over 100,000, 200. I'd say by the time you get to OT3, it's been at least $200,000 of investment. But that number varies on individual experience and area in the world you're in. It's significantly cheaper, by the way, to do a Scientology in Mexico, let's say, than it is here in the United States. But anyway, it's still a ripoff. Don't get me wrong. They're still going to gouge you for everything you got. Now, getting back to your question here, because I digress, Erica Christensen, I don't even know if she has reached the level of OT. But even if she has, she can't let on to anybody who is not OT, nor can any other Scientologist who's an OT, who does know this information, who understands the Xenu story, who understands that religion is an implant and Christ never existed and all that. See, that's really high-level stuff in Scientology. We talk about it because we don't care what level it is in Scientology. It's all a bunch of bunk. But to Scientologists, that's really sacred knowledge. So they don't just dish it out to anybody. And once you have that knowledge, you got to keep it secret. You can't be talking about this stuff. Now, obviously, in a very blatant, open way, like with South Park, where you had Isaac Hayes as a Scientologist, who was an actor, voice actor on the show, and they lampoon Scientology, do a whole episode about it, reveal all the secrets of OT3. Obviously, Isaac Hayes, as a Scientologist, was not going to be allowed to continue working there because these guys just, ridiculed Scientology in the most dramatic way possible as far as the church was concerned. So Isaac Hayes could not, maintain some connection with that. But his quitting wasn't an admittance that the Xenu story was true or that Scientologists actually believe that. It was merely a protest quit because of the ridicule, because of the satire. Hey, man, you're bashing my religion. You guys are a bunch of Trey and Matt are bigots. How dare you, right? Of course, Trey and Matt lampoon everything, and everything was fine to lampoon right up to the point that they lampooned Scientology. That was a bridge too far for Isaac Hayes and for the church, and so Isaac had to quit. I was told, by the way, that Isaac didn't even want to. That the church had to put the thumb screws on him in order to get him to quit. But that was neither an admittance nor a denial of the Xenu story. It had nothing, they can plausibly say that Isaac Hayes quit just because of the disrespect and the bigotry from their point of view. Erica Christensen, therefore, can't just openly, even if she knows this stuff, she can't just say, well, I'm not going to work on this because, it's the devil is all just an implant. See, the thing about implants is that they've already happened. They're done. It doesn't really matter what you're doing in the here and now. The religious implants, especially the Christ implants and the Catholic implants, angels, devils, demons, cherubs, these kind of imagery, the cross, all of that stuff, Hubbard said, was implanted. But Erica Christensen being in a movie about Christ is not gonna really have any great big effect on the world or convert a bunch of people to Christianity. She knows that. And so for her, it was more of an opportunity, a career opportunity to be a producer on the movie. By the way, she helped produce that movie. I did a review of that movie. I don't know if you know that. For a while, I had a movie review channel, and I was doing movie reviews. And The Case for Christ was a movie I went and watched in the theater. I watched it for free. We got a free pass. Thank God I didn't have to pay for it. But man, I did not like that movie. But as far as she's concerned, I think she saw it as a career move, and working for PureFlix or independent media that way outside of the Hollywood thing. Some actors want to aspire to move up to producing and directing and stuff like that, and that's a way to do it. And I guess that's how she chose to do that. But I'm just letting you know, as a Scientologist, as former Scientologist, I can tell you. You could be involved in something like that. It's not going to be considered sacrilegious or bizarre or something. It would be worse. Okay, let me give you an example of something that would be significantly worse in the eyes of a Scientologist. If a Scientologist were to play a psychiatrist, they would not, I don't think any Scientologist would ever play a psychiatrist as a sympathetic character. I think they would jump at the chance of playing a psychiatrist in an acting role as the bad guy. Oh, they'd be all about that. Because that would forward an ideological principle that Scientologists universally believe in and very openly state and can talk about. And that's the kind of virtue signaling that a Scientologist would be interested in doing to the world at large, is playing a bad psychiatrist and who's going to get his comeuppance because look at how abusive and horrible the psychs are. Okay, so that's the kind of thing that Scientologists would go for. Alternately, a Scientologist would I don't think a Scientologist would play a psychiatrist as a good character or as a protagonist. If I'm wrong, let me know if there's an exception to that I'm not thinking about right now. But that's kind of how I see that. And I hope that I've clarified the differences in those two situations.